Yeah, might be a good idea. I've got 9 o'clock. So everybody can stand and join us in the pledge.
Reel it in.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Good morning. First off, I need a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Next, approve the minutes of the July 28th, 2025 regular meeting.
Go ahead.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
All right. Approve employee claims filed with the county auditor for $884.90.
Make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Approve the ISAC voting resolution. This is merely updating who our voting representatives are on each of the committees that we serve.
Oh,
You're,
so moved.
you're already doing it. You wanna continue doing it?
Say what now?
You're just asking if you want to continue doing it.
Doing-
The legislative committee, but this is all of our other committees too.
That's
This covers
all
county
the
officials.
affiliates that ISAC has. And it's updating the names, so when there's like a strictly supervisors meeting and they're voting on something across the state, it gives the names of who can vote. One county gets one vote.
Yeah, I think you should do it.
Yeah, I'll make the motion that we,
Would you like to look at that list?
I have, thank you.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next, approve the EMS taxation resolution and outside counsel ballot language. We decided that, as important as this issue is, we are going to have outside bond counsel look at it, make sure that all the language is proper, because they will also be our bond counsel if we do go with a bond. So I need a motion to approve that.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay, next approved minor plat for TJ Beth Murphy and Nick Miller. Amber, you're on. You emailed that to everybody.
Yeah, and I apologize, my laptop's not working this morning, so we're gonna have to do this from school.
Can I plug into mine?
I can do this part.
And you can flip it around and here's the mouse. That work? Here's. Helps you.
There. So the minor plat, is the next step after the rezoning. And you guys had approved the rezoning, back on June 2nd, for the 2 acres. So what they're doing now is, transferring the 3.27 less the right of way there, which was, 0.38, so they're only getting 2.89, so just 0.89 additional from what was rezoned. So with that, because they rezoned the 2 acres, anything that they construct or build has to remain within those 2 acres. They can't have any accessory structures outside of the 2 acres. So this is the aerial image of what you can see is going to be transferred. They're going to use the driveway, which is right about through here. This was sent to the county engineer who had no issues. The auditor also didn't have any issues with it. The assessor also had no issues with it. As far as the GIS, Evan did issue the 911 address as 1063 Buck Creek Avenue. And then I stated that it met all requirements, to be able to put it in front of you guys. So it's met all of the minor plat subdivision criteria. So just on to you guys for approval. Any questions?
Not, I would entertain a motion to approve the minor plat for TJ and Beth Murphy and Nick Miller.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you, thank you. Profits.
No.
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda, approve the budgeted fund transfer, which we do every.
Yeah, so, that's the budgeted to transfer from the general fund to the general supplement fund. This year, you guys approved $346,500. I only did $250,000 to start. We'll hang on to that other 96.5 until it gets closer to time to transfer.
I'll make the motion to approve that transfer.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Approve the authorization of payroll for Michelle Lorison, Treasurer's Office, driver's license clerk at $19.59 per hour, beginning August 4th, 2025.
Make the motion to approve that.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Next items for discussion, place on file the following manure management plans. VanDaele Bros Incorporated, Western Township, Section 12. R.R. Fourth, Liberty Township, Section 12. Weber Finisher, Jefferson Township, 10. 4K Nation LLC, Spring Creek Township, Section 2. Byron Township, Section 25, Middlefield Township, Section 36. Dolan Finisher, Middlefield Township, Section 25. Charles Ward Home Site, Newton Township, Section 23. Need a motion to place those on file.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next discussion on the farm pasture.
Okay, that expires March 1st of 2026. I'm presenting it only because there is, under the termination clause, it does give the board the authority to renew upon expiration, continuing without having to put it out for bid or advertise. So I would prefer that the board make a decision on how they want to handle this before we proceed.
We do need to remember that this is also the tower site. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the pasture. I think it's like 86 acres or 85 something.
Right, and then we have the tower site for 911 there also.
Yes. Yep.
But this does not include the farmland that's being
No.
used for crops.
This is strictly the
Yes.
pasture. It's located at the county home, the old county home out there.
Seems like we should have it terminate and then offer out or ask her out for new bids.
If that's what you guys choose to do, that's fine. I'll just get a hold of Donley's and serve them the notice and then advertise it. But then you'll need to set a date on when you would like to open those bids.
Right,
Get a suggestion on which date to put that. Is that typically done in the fall or?
Yeah. I think it is. I think we're doing the farmland September 15th, if I recall correctly, so we'll just to give a little extra time for folks to see it, if that's the option, maybe go with September 22nd.
so, just to play devil's advocate here.
Yep.
So technically, nobody could bid on it, and then Downers could come in with a lesser bid and still have it.
Say why not?
That's
So
always a
nobody-
possibility.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't recall, but I think we're getting 110 an acre right now. So yeah, there's always that chance where it could come in less or it could come in more. You just
Right.
don't know.
I just would hate to have to not have a tenant there.
Yeah, I know the last few turns of this lease, I know at least the last one. The board chose just to renew it as is. So I just need direction on how you guys want me to handle it.
Gary, do you have any input on this? Since you were in the previous board?
Yes, I could put my thoughts on it. If it were me, I would renew it as is. It's a lot easier all the way around and you get like less costly, done. You take a chance of nobody else coming in to bid it. And Downey's might take it for less than what they're paying now.
Right. I mean, I just don't know how many people actually pasture animals anymore.
I think maybe on the back of that is the bid sheets attached, Keith.
Yep.
I don't recall how many we had the last time it was put out for bid,
Over Breckling and Donald.
two last time.
And that was 2 leases ago. 3 leases ago.
There's no date on it, so you can look at the date on the lease. Yeah, 2023 ending 2026.
Yeah, that would have been the current lease. Every year, like, even if we choose to stay with the same people, you're still gonna have a new lease. John, your thoughts?
Board's decision, need a motion if you wanna put it out for bid or if you wanna just renew the existing bid.
I'll make a motion, we put it out for bid.
Second,
I'm torn.
I'll go ahead and second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
May I have a date and time of when you would like to open bids for that, please?
Let's go with the second. Yeah.
Time?
Maybe, because I know what else they do out there. They keep the weeds down and everything else. So, you know, they put a little bit extra above and beyond into the ground.
It's still, 9:10.
Okay.
Here.
Get it to the paper. Yep.
Discuss repairs at the DHS building. Yep, it keeps on giving.
All right, so this was up, I was going back through some of the old YouTube videos that we had, and I see where we let something slip through the cracks because of the circus we have going on. So bringing this back to the table again, where we removed the dog house, what we call the dog house behind the DHS, fixing that wall so it no longer rains in the back door, fixing the door. Also left us with exposed wood that we need to follow up and tin. It's probably maybe, I don't know, a 10 by 10 or 12 foot area wide and whatever the height would be. I did get the information for the people that did the ELC when we sent that in, and they did it at a reasonable price. So with your permission, with the board's permission, I would like to give them a call and see if we can't get them out here to do that. I don't know if we want to put a dollar amount on that.
What's the general idea? What's the general cost, do you think?
Shouldn't be that
Do we
much.
want to have them also bid or give us an estimate on concrete, or you wanna,
I don't think they'll do concrete.
okay,
And we also need to move the steps and concrete underneath them. Right now they're on a whole bunch of lime rock. And they're uneven. And there's also for safety's sake, there is a handrail that needs replaced.
Did we determine if we need a second ADA access? I mean, that may be something that they could include in their bid if they
I
recommend it.
don't think you're gonna get an ADA access out of that. You're not gonna get the fall back there.
as basically the VHS portion. Didn't that contractor also do our roof at the senior center?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's what Good work. So can I get a motion to have Dawn proceed with the repairs at the DHS?
It'll be the masonry or the pouring of 3x4 foot concrete pad and the rail and the
Tin work.
tin work. It'd probably be two different contractors. So,
We
and
could authorize an amount too, not to exceed, and then follow through with it.
if it exceeds that,
I would probably say maybe you could get the bids and just present them to the head. Dawn proceed with
Yeah,
getting
that's better.
bids to get this taken care of.
Yeah, there you go.
Sounds good.
Thank you. I'll make that motion.
second,
Fair?
Aye.
Alright. Okay, discuss proceeding with repairs in the courtroom and jury areas. We had contacted Larson Construction last fall. He came out. And worked with several subcontractors to come out. They're gonna again work on the jury rooms in September 8th. And try and get that done first, then proceed with the courtroom, dependent upon the schedule of the courts. We're also having a contractor come in on next Monday at 10 to meet with the board to go up and look at the acoustical tile on the south wall, or pardon me, north wall in the courtroom, to see what restoration suggestions they have. Not only fixing some of the worst portions of it, but also brightening it up, make it look like better.
right? And if I remember correctly, Clayton already had somebody come in and check that for us.
Does not have asbestos, it's free of asbestos. However, it can't be painted or you lose all your acoustical value, so. It's real important to maintain soundproofing in that area. So. Put that on your calendar that, conclusion of our meeting next Monday. We will be meeting with them.
I will see that it's on the agenda too.
All right, thank you. And then now, did we get a bid from Parsons? We have yet to submit a bid. Because we've been messing with this for a while.
He's gonna give us more of a detailed bid, but it's all, a lot of it's dependent on what these restoration companies have to say, because he had to go through subcontractors to find people that are capable of doing storage buildings.
Okay, do we have a backup plan in case this comes in super expensive? Martin Gardner, architects, do they have somebody else we could contact for another bid if we need to?
They were the ones that gave us the names of the people that Larson's was in touch with. We could speak more with Corey next week. Okay, next, discuss the Buchanan County organizational chart. This is something Chris helped put together.
Yeah, this is something that, a lot of counties over the past years have been going to it. It's basically talks about the organization of county government. I did send it off to the county attorney to review. He said everything looked fine, so now it's completely in the hands of the Board of Supervisors on what they would like to do with it. Pretty much 99.9% of it is per Iowa code. I know there's some counties across the state that some of their boards may be a little different, and it just always seems like 99 counties, 99 different ways on certain things.
Great discussion. I don't know, otherwise I'll make the motion. We accept the organizational chart.
Well, I just do want to make a point here that
Yes, the EMA commission and the E911, that is truly dictated by the code of Iowa, so there's nothing. That. Basically, they are still tied to the emergency management coordinator and the E911 coordinator due to the fact that the Board of Supervisors approves those positions if there was a vacancy.
The other one that's also mandated or dictated by Iowa Code is the Veterans Affairs Commission. And the Conservation Board. We have very little say-so over what they do.
Yes, public health, conservation, you guys make the appointments to those boards. They make the decisioning,
Right, at their
Just the-
recommendation.
yeah.
The board that, those
Yeah.
board recommendations.
So basically, it just comes back to the fact if there was some sort of conflict, the authority that the Board of Supervisors would have would be to come down to the budget. Say,
Right.
we think you're too high, cut it 2%.
We don't even
That's,
tell them,
that's the, basically the only authority that supervisors have with those boards.
we don't even get to tell them where to cut.
Correct. Ultimately, their decision.
Okay, we've got a motion on the table.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Okay. Next meet with Isabel Thurn from Buchanan County Tourism.
Morning.
Good morning. Good to see you.
Good to see you guys. We have some new visitors guides. So I want to bring those in for you guys to each check out. We've been working on distributing those. Iowa has 16 official visitor centers. So we're distributing to the 8 that are more northeast in Iowa, also to some of our state parks around us, both Cedar Rock and then out of the county too, like Backbone. Hoping to draw in a couple more visitors from around the area, whether they're just passing through, but getting them to actually stop and enjoy Buchanan County. And then I just wanted to do a little update on other things we've been working on. Earlier this year, we received the Elevate Iowa Award. And with that, there was a scholarship. So I went to the Tourism Academy in Minneapolis. It was, as an organization, our first chance to really talk to tourism professionals outside of the state. And it's been very beneficial working with other partners within Iowa, but I think meeting and making connections with larger cities and larger destinations was really beneficial for us. A lot of the things that they utilize, we can't necessarily do due to cost restraints and things like that in Buchanan County. However, we can do all of those things at our own scale. So it kind of lit a little fire in me. And I'm excited to take what I learned there and apply it to Buchanan County. We also received the Iowa Tourism Grant this year. So with that, we got a new website and it is up. However, I have a little more work to do on it. And we also are doing a digital marketing campaign. So that's called You Can in Buchanan. We launched it just a couple of weeks ago and it'll run through September 2nd. With that, we are targeting young families outside of the state, in closer drivable metro areas. So Omaha, St. Louis, Minneapolis, Milwaukee, areas like that, hoping to draw some of them in. We also had Go Wild this spring. That went pretty well. It was a scavenger hunt throughout Buchanan County. So we had, I believe, 11 stops on the scavenger hunt, and you just took a little picture with an animal at each stop. It went pretty well, and it was fun too. So it was a good way to get more local people out and about and involved in their community.
How many did we have participate?
We had about 300 total.
Well, that's really good.
So,
That's more
yeah,
than I thought we did.
It went well. Yes.
What were some of the ideas that you brought back from your out-of-state trip to, that you hope to implement?
Yeah. So the one really big thing that stuck with me was there was a destination in Georgia that does a travel visitor center. So they move it around both their county and outside of their destination. They were just a city. But with that, they brought they had print materials, and they also sold some things. I don't know how well that would go over here. but they went out and about, and that was a good way for them to connect with their community, and other people local that were nearby and get that information.
So it was a mobile? tour
Yes,
then?
a mobile,
That's
yes.
interesting.
It was super interesting, and I think that's something that we could definitely implement here. We have a lot of the materials to do it. It's just going out and doing it. So that's one of my goals for, it's kind of late in the summer to do that. But that's one of my goals going forward, to implement something like that, that we go out, whether it's once every 2 or 3 weeks or once a month, something like that, and just get out in the community, get that information out and about.
It'd be interesting to see how you update that location, because if it's a mobile tourism center, then Google Maps, Apple Maps, those organizations. I wonder if you can change the location of those, or, to follow through
Yeah.
with your idea.
I've had to change our visitor center once before.
Did
When
it
we
take a little bit
moved.
of time, or?
It did take a little bit of time. I think probably the best way to go about that is just posting on social media
Of course.
about where it'll be. It is interesting. I hadn't thought about
Yeah.
that, moving our location.
I mean, it may take a couple weeks, but if you do it a few weeks in advance.
Right.
It kind of follows through with your idea.
Yes. Yeah, that would be really interesting.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a good way to connect with our local businesses, our local community, and then visitors as well. So I think that would be really good.
Out and about my travels this weekend, I did see some scenic byways, which reminded me that we had some stuff on working on the backside. So. Need to follow up with you.
Okay. Sounds good. Yes, I will. Some of the other things we've been working on, we had RAGBRAI come through last week, as I'm sure everyone here is aware. I think it went over really well. I enjoyed welcoming 30,000 or so new visitors into Buchanan County. And I think all of our cities, I tried to stop at each one. I didn't make it to Lamont on Saturday,
You can get
but,
into Aurora.
oh, yes, I know.
There's no chance.
I did make it to Aurora from Stanley, but
Good for you.
it was,
You come around the north side, I tried to go from the south.
I went from the south and I was just like, the state patrol stopped me and I was like, please, I'm trying to go in. I'm gonna volunteer. We did make it, however, it was not the
Yeah,
easiest
good for
trek. But it was really fun connecting with people. I just continued to shout out Buchanan County Tourism. In Fairbank, I stood at the top of the hill outside of town and just yelled at everyone. It was really fun. I enjoyed it. And I think it went over pretty well. So that was a good event for us. And then just aside from like the normal day-to-day stuff, we've been jumping into some legislative work. It's pretty early in the year for that. However, Iowa Tourism Industry Partners works with a lobbying organization. So we just went through what some of our legislative priorities are. And in Buchanan County, I kind of narrowed it down to like hotel motel funding and ensuring that that is still a path for both us and other partners throughout the state. And then ensuring that the tourism season stays the same. We don't want to cut days off of summer because that's such a big time for us. And then through the state, they have allowed us to start working on some international travel stuff, which has been really interesting just to dive into. I think that is something that can really benefit, especially our state parks, Cedar Rock, and the Amish community. Especially when so many visitors are going to Cedar Rapids, Dubuque, Cedar Falls, just getting those people to hop off the highway and come spend time in Buchanan County is beneficial for all of us, especially when we have great assets. So it's been really interesting too.
I think there's a lot of foreign visitors that come for agricultural opportunities
Yes.
within the state. So if you can kind of blend those with it.
Right.
you can
Yes.
have some success.
Yes. 100%. Yeah. Heartland Acres too. And I think, I don't know how this would look. It's like a very early thought. But what a lot of those people are looking for are like farm tours. That's what they want to do. And we have a ton of farms here. It would be developing a partnership with them of some sort that is mutually beneficial for the visitors, tourism, and our local farmers. But I think it would be really interesting.
I think if you could do a blend of modern farming techniques and then maybe also tour a couple of Amish farmsteads.
Yeah,
it would be
100%.
Really a neat comparison.
Yes, absolutely.
I didn't know this about Raleigh's quaking soil. That's pretty interesting.
Right? I know. Yes, of course.
Remember in the wintertime, we still have snowmobiles?
Yeah. Right.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Hunting, fishing,
Good point.
more tourism dollars.
Right?
More money
Absolutely.
to be Canyon County.
Yes.
Very good. Any questions for this?
Great.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming and giving us an update.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for letting me visit.
And,
Thank you. The book is great.
Thank you. That's my new baby after the Amish map.
And that map kind of did a good job.
I couldn't leave it out. An important one for us.
Okay,
Ryan's here.
I haven't seen him poke his head in.
It's not, I had told parents to be around 9:30, or we need to be ready for half threes.
Board's consent, I would move to public comment and then we can come back to Ryan. Let's get here.
Yep.
So I'll open this up for public comment. Nice to see everybody this morning. Whoever would like to go first, please stand, give your name, address, and try and keep it limited to about 3 minutes. A lot of really talkative people this morning.
Brad Blackner. John, could someone give us an update on what happened from the last meeting in terms of the we call it counseling sessions and anything that's happened in terms of that?
We've all each scheduled them individually with our EAP coordinator, and we'll be meeting with them over the next few weeks, I guess.
I met with them last Tuesday, the day after, and then I think tomorrow as well is my second one.
Because that, it was presented as 1 3-hour session. It ended up being 3 1-hour sessions per person, like a week apart. So I met with them the first time and I did on site, their site tomorrow.
That answer your question, Brad?
It does, thank you.
My name's Tim Westermeyer at 155 West Washington Street in Winthrop, Iowa. I'm here on behalf of Keith Whelan. I've been watching their shows on YouTube, and it's nothing but a shit show. You guys are very unprofessional when it comes to Mr. Whelan here asks questions. And the reason you ask questions is so he can learn what's going on with the questions he asks. That's how he performs his job. But you guys do not want to give him information. And he asks constantly, and I'm not sure what's going on with the not releasing his stuff that he needs to do his job. That's very unprofessional as far as I'm concerned. When the guy's talking, he doesn't blow up, he doesn't make gestures and all this other stuff, but everybody else around him. So Mr. Whelan's doing a very good job. I don't understand how you guys are doing what you're doing. Now, last week, you had a good thing that was introduced with the rules of what you need to follow them. Let him do his job. He's asking questions. When you ask a question, you get something done. That's the way you have to do it. And not have to say when he asks a question, no, that's, we can't give you that information. That's irrelevant. What you need it for. He needs it to lay out a plan. That's how you get things done. You lay out plans, you plan ahead. So I'm not understanding what's going on, the full amount, but you need to work it out, get it done.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
Mr. Ryan?
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan,
Hey, morning.
good to see you again.
Good to see
We're
you.
gonna pause the public comment portion until we finish up with Ryan.
Okay,
Give us a little heads up.
on some healthcare.
Healthcare premiums are gonna be cut, which is really great, right?
I don't know if we can talk about cutting them, but I know we can talk about not increasing them, so.
What the negotiation tactic.
Yeah. Good try.
Alright. It's,
Thank you.
there you go. You
Good.
bet. Yeah.
Thanks, Ryan.
You bet.
Mine.
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna do a review and check-in of your self-funded health plan for the year-to-date information that we have from January through, I believe we have claims through June. The July reports are gonna come out in the next day or two. So overall, your health plan's performing well. Your reserve, I checked in with Chris, I think it's over 2.5 million. So it's done over the last 3 to 4 years. I think we started at around $700,000 of a reserve balance, and it was dropping. So moving from August to Wellmark over the years, we've gotten a much deeper discount on claims, and subsequently we've not raised premiums, and we've seen that overall reserve rise dramatically.
2.5.
About 2.5 million. Yeah. So, and based on our annual spend, so we have essentially we have a full year worth of expenses in your reserve, which means you're very well financially set for a self-funded health plan. A good goal is 50% of our annual spend in a reserve. So we're in a great spot. If you go past the proposal cover, we have a table of contents. I have 3 tabs. We'll look at some overall reports and then just medical and pharmacy split out. And then one item that I didn't get listed here that I want to bring up now, there was a new PBM reform bill that was passed. I've sent updates to Ashley and Chris on this. Every municipal employer, pharmacy benefit manager. It was Senate File 383. And so it's been passed and it's been signed by the governor. And it took effect July 1. And it was passed, I believe, June 12th. So there was very little time for insurance companies to conform with the new law. And essentially what's happening for all of our rural pharmacies across the state of Iowa, there's an additional dispensing fee of $10.68 that will be added to every script. Now with our health plan, we have copays for our pharmacy. So the member may not see that on a lot of the scripts because they're going to pay the same copay they've always paid, but that additional cost will go on to the county. And so we're estimating roughly about $170 per member per year expense back onto the employer. So if we think about a $2.5 million spend, I think we could see between $20,000 and $30,000 annually of additional cost. And there's no opt out of this. Every employer at this point will be subject to this. However, some private self-funded employers may, with time as it goes through the court system, may get out of this because of ERISA preemption, because they're subject to federal law, not state law. But as a public employer, you're subject to state law.
So as I'm calculating this out at 130 employees, I'm coming up with about $22,100 per year.
Yeah, so I said between 20 and 30,000. It all depends on our rural pharmacy dispensing. So if it's dispensed, and Hy-Vee qualifies as a rural pharmacy. I don't know if we have a Hy-Vee pharmacy in town or not. So that's good. But we probably have some other rural pharmacies. And so the intent of the law was to keep rural pharmacies alive. The state of Iowa has seen a dramatic drop in operational rural pharmacies. The jumbo pharmacies have become really
in some communities, the only option, or there is no option anymore. And so this bill was, the intent of the bill is to help rural pharmacies.
Just to kind of
Stay in
clarify,
business.
like a hardy drug.
Yeah, that's gonna be a rural pharmacy. Yeah, so if you have less than, I believe it's less than 20 retail pharmacies, it's either, I'm not sure on the exact amount, but a Hardig drug would qualify as a rural pharmacy.
The ones that are attached to hospitals like Mercy One, does that qualify as a rural or is that skate around the law?
That would probably be a rural pharmacy as well. I'm not 100% sure on that though. Again, the law is so new. I believe it's if you have 20 or more within a certain geographical location, then you're considered a retail pharmacy and you would not have the additional dispensing fee added to it.
Forgive my ignorance, but $10.68 per each script, is that each drug, or?
Every time a prescription is filled.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
That includes refills then also.
Yep, every prescription. So as I look at some of your data, and I'll just,
Technically, I could decide to drive, I could bypass my rural pharmacies, I could bypass that fee. I could drive to Waterloo and go to
Walmart,
Walmart,
Target.
Walgreens.
Yep, those are all gonna be retailed.
And, but,
Yep.
Thank you.
so that drives people out of this market in the bigger towns if they know what's going on, in my mind.
If you have a plan design, if you're on a high deductible health plan where the member's paying 100% of the cost, then that can help, that could steer them to the retail pharmacy chains.
But I think you mentioned that's our cost at the employer level.
Yeah, because we have copays set, so we have, what are our copays today?
Some point in time, they, only absorb costs so long, so then you raise your copays.
Yeah, and so as you raise copays, then that the health plan, the member is going to pay more, of course, of the overall prescription, but some of that cost will still fall back to the county. So it's unfortunate in the sense that it's an additional cost for every employer and every employee, but it is keeping some of these rural, the intent is that it'll keep some rural pharmacies in business. Because right now, the big pharmacy benefit managers like CVS that we have today, they have so much business across the country and so much negotiating power that they go to these pharmacies and they agree to pay them less than what their acquisition cost is. So this pharmacy has to have a drug. They get the drug for $10. The PBM, CVS, which is who we have, reimburses them $8. And so they're in effect, they're losing money on a lot of prescriptions that they're dispensing to their members. And so this law also determines that they have to at least break even on the acquisition cost. So whatever their cost is, they're going to be reimbursed on a national average what the overall acquisition cost would be for any drug.
Otherwise, you'd have antitrust, anti-competitive actions. I hear you.
Yeah, well, and on some of these expensive drugs, some of these rural pharmacies were losing thousands of dollars every time they were being filled. And so these small businesses just can't lose money on a prescription. So the intent was we're going to reimburse them what the national average acquisition cost is going to be, plus this dispensing fee of $10.68 to pay them for their time. But yes, I would guess $25,000 in additional cost roughly for our health plan. But overall, when we look at what the reserve's doing based on the premiums that we have, our reserve grew $400,000 to $500,000 last year. And we're still going to grow, $300,000 to $400,000 this year if things continue to trend the way they are. So we're still in a really good spot.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like we should change our premium or.
No, I'm not saying that. My mind was.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're all good questions. As we learn more about the bill, because it is so new and the overall impact, we'll be sure to, and I've been giving Ashley and Chris updates when we get updates. Okay, if you go to tab 1, this first report's an aggregate report, and this is a high-level overview of your self-funded health plan. So on the left-hand side, it should show months of January through June, and then facility, practitioner, pharmacy, claims, totaling $967,000. Does everybody see that number? Go the first page in section 1.
$168,000.
967, 411 for total.
Yep.
And then under the stop loss credit section, that's gonna be claims that were reimbursed from Wellmark back to us as the plan sponsor because we buy stop loss insurance. And we have a $75,000 deductible on every member that we insure today. So any claims over 75,000, we get reimbursed from the carrier, which is Wellmark. So that's a credit of 96,878. So then we have a net claims total of 870,000. And then the estimated ag liability, the column to the right of that, that's the year-to-date max. And that's 125% of expected claims. So 1,375,000. And so we add these footnotes at the bottom. That's 125% of what the underwriter that looked at our group projected for the 2025 plan year. So expected claims would be 1.1 million. And we're at 870, so we're in a surplus of $229,000.
We're saving.
Now, we have a run-out contract, which means claims are incurred over 12 months, but paid over 18. So we'll pay claims from 2025 covered under this contract into 2026. So it's immature data, but we're running at 79%. We'll probably complete between 85 and 88, which is still very good. The prior year, you'll see, if you just go straight to the footnotes, we had a really good year. We were funding to expected plan costs and we ran 442,000 under expected. And that's with all of the run out claims. So on a mature basis. So that was a fantastic year for our self-funded health plan.
And these are calendar years.
Yep. Yeah, the second report will show January of 24 all the way through June of 25 because this contract is still in force because we have that run out protection. The next page is a de-identified large claim report. So this will show any members that reached 50% of our deductible of $75,000. So 37.5. You can see the list is fairly lengthy for 2024 at the top, and then 2025 through 6 months, we've had 3 people reach deductible. And so these totals over 75 will match what we saw as a reimbursement on the aggregate report.
Go ahead.
Any questions on those reports before we go to the next section?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, the quarterly health and pharmacy key indicators is this report in section 2. We're not going to go through this line by line, but I'm going to just point out some important statistics to look at. So under the cost of care, the fourth line item down, paid PMPM, and that's stands for per member per month. You can see each quarter over the last 2 years, kind of what our trends have been for the overall health and pharmacy spend. And this is all gross claims. It does not take into account for any stop loss reimbursements. So it's off the gross. So we had an average of $751 per member per month in claims paid to providers. You can see in the paid per service, you can see the admission totals, the outpatient visit totals, paid per prescription, and then the professional office visit. And then on the next section down, membership summary, we can see that our overall members, we started in Q3 of 23 at 266 for membership. So that's employee, spouse, and child, and 96 employees, and we end at 277 and 107. So we've had a slight increase in enrollment. The county pays a significant portion of the premium. So we have a lot of spouse and kids that elect to join our health plan, and we have a great plan. You go to the next page. I'm going to go all the way down to the pharmacy cost and utilization. Pharmacy has been a major challenge for every employer, fully insured, self-funded. We get to see all the data since we're self-funded, but we do see a fairly positive trend here as we look across over the last 2 years. The last 3 quarters, we've seen our pharmacy spend go back to where we were in Q3 of 23. And that's because we've lost a lot of our specialty medications have dropped by about 40%. So the specialty medications are typically climate controlled, mail ordered directly to the pharmacy or to the member and start at about $5,000 per prescription. We've seen that usage drop a pretty considerable amount. Yeah. And so that's reflective here of this pharmacy spend.
Back to your office cost and utilization metrics.
Yep.
The days per thousand, if annualized. Looks like 282. Is that kind of a good metric to figure out, how many sick days to anticipate or future years, et cetera, et cetera?
Which page are you looking at?
Page 2 of 2.
2 of 3.
Page 2 of 2, okay. Days per thousand, that's under inpatient cost, okay. So what they're doing, they're taking our membership of 280 and they're making us into 1,000 life group to make the data more credible.
Mhm.
So some of this data is not going to be exact for our group. They're going to be inflated about 3 times.
Okay.
So the days per thousand, you can see the actual claimants above. That's what I would use. So you can see the amount of claimants that were admitted each quarter going across. If we look down at, can you go back? What was your original question?
Yeah, basically, I'm looking for a metric about how many sick days we can anticipate or kind of plan for in the future. How much personnel utilization, if that would be a good metric, or if you can glean anything from that.
This would only be metrics for if they went to the hospital or they utilized the thing.
Yeah, they'd have to, this would be for an actual admission, typically an inpatient stay. Any outpatient data would be on the next section down. I've never had an employer ask that question. I don't have a good answer for
Oh, fair
that.
enough. Thank
Yeah,
you. Appreciate your honesty.
that's a good question.
Yeah.
We can see on the next section down, the ER visit counts have gone up slightly. We started at 10 and 15, 17, and we're ending at 25, 17, and 28 visits. We did make, and do you know what our ER copay is? Is it a copay or is it subject to deductible and co-insurance? I don't have a benefit summary with me. I feel like it's a pretty low copay.
Yeah,
It's very, very low.
It's low, but I
Because I have 2 18-year-olds that you don't.
Yeah, I think we do. And so what a lot of employers have done, either they've increased the copay or they've had ER go and be subject to your deductible and co-insurance. I would say a majority of the health plans have gone that direction just because the cost of service in an ER versus an urgent care or a telemedicine setting is obviously much more expensive. So that is something that we can change our health plan at renewal. As a self-funded health plan, you're the fiduciary and you get to make those decisions.
But our numbers are pretty good right now.
They've trended higher on the ER usage, and if it is $100 copay, and that's sticking out to me as what it is, that's a very low copay for an emergency room. And we kept that old benefit when you were with Auxient years ago, and we just moved it over to Walmart. And things have been working, and the reserve's been going up, and so we've not made any plan changes. Okay, if you go to the last tab 3, the pharmacy quarterly dashboard, some of the same data we just looked at, but if you go to page 2 of 4, this will be a review of all our non-specialty drugs. So brand name and generics, specialties in its own section. And that's what I mentioned earlier. That's why we've seen a reduction in our pharmacy spend, because we've seen our specialty utilization drop. But for all of our non-specialty drugs, we can see that 90% of the prescriptions, the percent generic, the second line down, 90% of the time our members take a generic drug, which is right on par with what the Wellmark book of business average would be, between 88 and 92%. So we're doing a good job. When the generic's available, we're taking that generic. As we continue down, you can see the overall cost per prescription for a generic. Paid per prescription, 53, 56, 55, 58. It's very consistent across the board. And generics typically go up between 3 and 5% twice a year, but the overall cost for a generic is just so much less than what it is for a brand or a specialty drug. We flip the page, we can see brand with generic equivalents, and then the overall costs for all of the non-specialty drugs. So the paid amount at 58,000, 60, 73, 68, and 66. So those are numbers per quarter for all of our non-specialty. And then on the last page will be a review of only specialty drugs. This is where we're doing better. All of our non-specialty medications have been very consistent. But looking at specialty, we start in Q2 of 24 with 26 prescriptions at an average cost per script of $6,300. So 26 prescriptions, 6,300 per script. So it's a lot of money on specialty drugs. We end at 50% of the utilization for the most recent quarter at 13 scripts. Our overall paid per prescription has been, it's gone up slightly. We started at 6,300, we're at 66, but those drugs are incrementally going to increase over time. But we're looking at a 50% reduction in our overall scripts. So if you take 13 times 6,000, that's $100,000 savings just in the specialty drugs utilization decreasing. So hopefully that's a trend that we see continue. That's where we spend it, and every employer spends a significant amount of their budget is on specialty drugs. But I brought the renewal from last year. Our expected plan costs for the year were just above 2.5 million. We're funding our health plan to 2.7 million. So if we ran it expected, we would still see our reserve grow. Based on that first page, you can see we're running better than expected, and I feel like we'll finish better than expected. So we're going to see a nice bump in the reserve for the 2025 calendar year again.
Good things.
I would not budget any increase. We've not taken a decrease. We've kept the same rates that you've had for, I think this will be our 4th or 5th year with those same rates. Budget wise, if you felt like you needed to, you certainly can. There are dollars to play with here, but we've always just kind of hedged our bet for the future and medical and pharmacy inflation eventually catching up to us, which it will.
What's kind of the metrics you use to budget that premium that the county provides?
We would just make an overall reduction to the premiums, and then I think the county pays 90%, the employee pays 10%. So that would be, it could all go to the county. It could be shared equally. You would have.
And as far as our budget, our estimated future budgets, at what metric, what would you kind of say is the cursor to say? You said 50% is pretty much a target cash on hand to have funded. What's the upper end target? Is it 130%?
There is no, I get that question all the time. We have groups with 3 years of expenses in this. I think it can become excessive at a certain point.
I agree.
There's no reason to have more, in my opinion, more than a year's worth of expenses in the account.
Okay.
So some counties, and I work with a lot of counties, they've done like a transfer out of this fund to pay for other projects.
Sure.
So I do know it's possible. They've worked with multiple auditors to do it. We've had 2 counties that I know of that have taken a one-time transfer out because it kept going and going and going.
But at the same point in time, if we take transfers out, then we could be shorting ourselves in the future. And healthcare does not go down.
It's not going to go down, but I don't like to see groups get in too big of a negative funding situation. So if, let's say, we have 10% increases over the next 5 years, theoretically, we could just take money from ourselves, but then we're going to be underfunding our health plan. And at some point, you're going to need a huge increase to keep up with that. And so I want to keep employers out of that situation.
Well, if somebody gets a catastrophic health situation, that is employee or family member employee, it can.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, we have a $75,000 deductible, so we'll pay 75. We'll be reimbursed over that. The nice thing, and in prior years when you had Auxient and other stop loss carriers, they could do a laser on a high cost member, kind of what you're referencing, where instead of a $75,000 deductible, it could be $1 million. And we had some really high cost claims within this county as I looked at prior claims data before I became your consultant. With Walmart, they take all the stop loss premium and pool it together. They do not typically laser out a known high cost claimant that's ongoing. So we have some more protection with Walmart as our stop loss carrier.
But think back to when Dawn and I came into office, I think our reserve was about $1.6 million, wasn't it? Chris,
Is that about right, Chris?
she's probably gonna be able to tell us right away.
Hold it up here.
But it seems to me it was under $2 million, and now we're much healthier position.
Right. We do have to remember though. that
And we haven't had to raise premiums.
Right. Remember what we did in union negotiations though. We did include the sheriff's department in under the same umbrella before they were paying more than everybody else.
Right.
For their health insurance. So we'll be taking a little bit of a
Yeah,
hit on
that
that.
needs to be taken into consideration, but it's not gonna be much. Because I can't remember how much more, I can't remember off the top of my head without going in and looking at the union contract, how much additional they were paying above the other employees. But that's what they negotiated. That's what they wanted.
I understand that. I also understand it was like, I don't wanna say it was 50 to 70.
I think it was, I'd have to look. I
Anyway.
just want to say.
Yeah, at any
I
rate.
want to speak.
I do remember we also had negotiator, what not really negotiated, but had her text on the line saying that we didn't think their healthcare costs would increase by that much, so I would hate to change premiums.
Ryan, do
Yep.
you recall when you became our broker? Was that in 2022,
I think it was 2021.
2021?
Yeah. I think it was 2021. 2021 or 2022. I don't know the exact year. Yeah, and when we moved to Wellmark, if I remember correctly, we also made the health plan slightly better for the employee. We reduced the out-of-pocket maximum and the deductible when we made that change. I think it was 2,500 deductible, 5,000 out of pocket, and we went to 2,400. So that was also an improvement, which is an additional county expense.
So July 1st of 2021, the balance on hand was 1,083,714. That's what we had for a fund balance in our health insurance account in 2021. So yes, it has been building.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it has to do with a lot of the changes that the board has made a decision on. July 1 of 2020, we had 545,000.
Yeah, I remembered like 700 somewhere in there when I got introduced to your group. So that would make sense. Yeah, and it was just trending down. And your county had some of the highest insurance premiums of any county across the state. Now, a lot of other counties have caught up with you, but we've not had to make any increase.
The previous board for changing to you. They did a good job.
Yeah, Augsy, that was gonna be a challenge as long as you stayed with that vendor.
Very good. Any other questions for Ryan?
I did want to ask, what does it look like to change our contract to a fiscal year instead of a calendar year? Because our dental and vision rates are on a fiscal year, but everything else is on a calendar year. And I was originally thinking maybe putting it all on a calendar year, but our budgets are on a fiscal year. So I think it would be more beneficial if we could possibly look into changing our contract to a fiscal year. Or what, do you have any insight on that?
On the health plan?
Yeah, just to have it all be the same across the board unless that's not doable.
Yeah, so I would say most counties do have a 7/1 fiscal plan
Okay.
year for everything. It is challenging to go from a calendar year to a 7/1 renewal on a self-funded health plan.
Okay,
I can talk to Wellmark and see if and how, if it's possible.
okay,
I've not actually ever had a group do that.
okay. Because I
Um,
know, yeah, our dental and vision are on a fiscal year.
Yeah,
And it's okay, but if it's,
Yeah, and the dental and vision are with ISAC,
Yeah.
which is the association sponsored plans. And I remember you asking this, we could look at a non-ISAC solution for dental and vision if it would made it easier to get it all onto a January. That's gonna be much easier than taking the health to a 7/1.
okay,
And Ryan does a really good job coming in here in July, so we're gonna know what it's gonna go up to by the time we start. setting
Yep.
up.
yep.
Yep, we'll
exactly.
know before Thanksgiving of this year what the increase for dental and vision will be in
Oh, perfect.
2026.
Okay,
Yeah, because the size of that pool is so large, we get a very much advanced notice on the renewal.
perfect, okay. Yeah, I just
Yep.
didn't know if that was a possibility or what.
I
that
know
was
it's
like
tricky
for other
because
counties.
your employee contributions have to change in the middle of the year. It's a pain.
Yeah, but
I
if-
understand that.
I just wanted to see if that
Yep.
was doable or,
I'll ask Walmart. I think it's gonna be challenging.
okay,
Yeah.
sounds good.
Yep.
Good to know.
Yeah, that way you still have to do it twice a year.
And that's all right. I love it. So, perfect. Thank you,
Yeah,
Ryan.
you bet.
Ryan, thank you.
Yeah, thank you
Very
guys.
informative. Appreciate it.
Okay. And then I'll be back with the renewal sometime in October. We'll have roughly around the first week in October, I get a firm and final renewal. So, okay.
Good. Appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.
Okay. Next, we'll go back to public comments.
Stay here, so if you don't want to.
Thanks.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thanks, Isabel.
I don't want to hold you captive.
Center.
I'll take my turn.
You bet.
Charlie Tutwiler, 415 4th Street, Southwest. So I've been hearing a lot around the town about unhappiness with one of the supervisors. I understand there was a petition going around to recall a certain supervisor. Iowa law, as written, there's no provision for a recall of any elected official. So whoever's spreading that around needs to stop. I also want to cite something called defamation of character. Some have said, well, this person's an elected official, so we can say anything we want. Well, I point you to ABC and Trump. They settled out of court for 15 million. If it was true that people could say anything they want about elected official, ABC wouldn't have given up 15 million. I know some people have hurt feelings. They didn't get the person in there they wanted. And I would suggest that if you have hurt feelings, you file a hurt feelings report and throw it in the trash. Now, Iowa Code 66.1A does talk about how to remove an elected official. The district circuit court judge is the person that can do that. There's several ways to get that to court. One way is to get the Attorney General for the United States, or for Iowa rather, that's Britt, Miss Britt, to file a removal request. That's not going to happen. The second way is for the county attorney to do the same. Now, if you look at 66.1A, it lists 8 reasons that you can terminate an elected official. I'll just go over a couple of them. Neglect in office, misconduct, corruption, extortion, felony conviction, intoxication. That's enough. So it's wishful thinking that you're going to get rid of a supervisor unless they do something inappropriate. So I'm sorry you lost the election, or some did, but that's what we have. And personally, I like an ex-military guy who asks questions and tries to improve the situation for the county. I'm hearing a lot of jeepers creepers. The taxes are going up. The taxes are going up. Now, I'm personally working with a school board. They got a $32 million budget, which is bigger than y'all's, and they're going to be asking for 42 more million as a bond renewal. So I'm not saying anybody's doing a bad job, but there's no problem looking into things and getting the answers that we want. And I agree with the person in the back that just spoke. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? An awful big crowd for very few speakers.
Got one over there.
Fine.
No, her. Did you?
Thank you. I, Urban Dugan Avenue, Brandon. Excuse me. I just have a question. I would like a little explanation on it, or so I can understand it better. The latest filing against to the state against the mayors of the county and against the supervisors. That had a major portion of that had to do with the electronic vote. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. I'm under the impression that you attended all of the open meetings on that subject, and that you gave a lot of input on it, were asked for a lot of input on it, but never brought up any questions regarding your discomfort with the electronic voting until after the vote was taken, and then you filed a state complaint. Is that correct?
Another elected official actually asked questions during that meeting about whether or not it was allowed.
And did you say anything about it, that you were discomfortable?
It was already,
You were not comfortable with it?
it was already said at that point. So I assumed that somebody was going to look into it.
It just seemed to me a little odd that you didn't bring it up during the meetings.
As I said, somebody else did.
Thank you. Anyone else? If not, I would entertain.
Oh,
Oh,
Brad Lichty, 801 Pine Drive. Independence. Pete, you came onto this board with an agenda. The mere fact that you stated earlier this year that Doge would arrive in 18 months reeks the idea that you fully intended to see to it that John and Dawn would not be reelected. Instead of coming on board and searching for ways to gel as a team, you chose to cause division amongst three of you supervisors and the auditor by filing charges. From the outside looking in, it appears that you are wanting to bring attention to yourself at the expense of others. Your actions are despicable, disgraceful, and exemplify deplorable behavior. Keith, 2 weeks ago, I challenged you to receive training to better your performance as our county supervisor and demonstrate desire to work as a team with John, Dawn, and Chris. With that training, I ask that you apply those learned techniques to your actions in participating beyond. I believe you have signed in to training with the Employee Assistance Program. I commend you for that. It displays your willingness to begin understanding your role as a team member. I also stated that if you refuse to drop all charges against our county, and again, ultimately your charges are against us taxpayers, if no fault is found against certain individuals, that I would call for your resignation. I was hoping you would drop charges, receive training, and start anew, doing things the way that they should have been done from day one. To my knowledge, you've not dropped the charges against your team members and the county. Therefore, I am asking for you to resign from your position of Buchanan County Supervisor effective immediately. We need you to leave your seat to someone who desires to work for us, not against us. John and Dawn, on behalf of the electorate, it's best to see that all expenses incurred by Mr. Williams' actions against Buchanan County are reimbursed to our county in its entirety if proceedings continue and the county is found faultless in the charges put forth. Thank you.
thank you.
All right, has Keith sued the city? County, has he sued him? Has he hired lawyers? Has he put charges to it?
I don't believe there's any lawsuit involved. It's a claim of,
It's a complaint.
violation of the Iowa Public.
Yeah, so he's saying you asked for information, didn't give us the information, so then you can go to a higher complaint, and that's all he's done, right? Did I understand that right?
That would be my understanding.
Okay, so he has not sued at all the county.
Not that I'm aware of, have you? I don't know.
Not that I'm aware of either.
Okay, so it's like, by wording and phrasing, I was like, did I miss something somewhere? So I just want to make sure.
I think the confusion might be that we do have to seek legal counsel in the situation. It has nothing to do with a lawsuit. But
Right.
we have to have legal
Yeah.
counsel.
If you guys should have legally complied with Keith's request to get the information.
That would be an assumption.
And then out of fear and about that, and that you could, or that you done wrong, or whatever, that you're getting clear for that, not this you sued. Okay, I thought I understood right, so that's. Making sure. I was like, oh, it is, something I missed. Dang it.
Nothing to be scared of what he has.
Anyone else?
Brandon, can you clarify a little bit when the judgment is gonna be for the first filings? We don't know that. Is that gonna be yet this month, next month? Do we have any idea?
I'm not named in any of them, so I don't have any information whatsoever as far as what the attorneys are providing.
I don't have any idea.
You're the engineer on this one. You gotta give us the answers on that. Did they give you any feedback on when?
Again, I have no idea.
So it-
21st.
so when will we know what the cost is? This whole process.
At this time, the county has not received an invoice at this time
At this time.
for anything.
So what was the average cost per defendant, per lawyer?
I believe the contract was broke down for attorney, paralegal and all of that stuff. I'm just thinking in my head, I mean, not 100%, I think the attorney fee, just strictly the attorney per time was $3.10 an hour. As it broke down with the other, people in the office, it was different, but I do not remember that off the top of my head. I could probably go in and look it up.
It's basically besides the lawyer, $3.10 an hour,
Like,
there's a couple other.
Yeah.
Whatever categories with it. So
Like paralegal.
it's gonna be more than $3.10 an hour, basically.
possibly.
Just the counseling that they're having to do, that
Yes.
costs too.
Yeah.
How many hours have you done with the lawyer?
We have not received an invoice yet, so I don't know.
Oh, I was just asking.
You know what? No, we haven't received nothing yet, so I don't know.
Thank you.
Allison Michael, 1647 280th Street, Independence. My question is, why he's not being given the information he has requested? It's public information, so why is it not given to him?
Was not made as an open records request. It was from one coworker to another. It was not an open records request. It did not, the email did not state this is an open records request.
Is this information that I could walk in and ask and receive?
If you would like to make an open records request, anyone in the public can make an open records request. And I'm required to fulfill it within a reasonable time. And there's also can be fees, like copy fees, time can also be charged. That's per Iowa code.
So I just haven't figured out why it wasn't given to him to begin with.
Because he did not request it as an open records request. It would be no different than John emailing me, please put this on the agenda. Dawn, county attorney, absolutely any employee. It came from his work email. That is not considered an open records request.
You legally didn't have his, but you should have.
So we're worried about a technicality. You know, people are worried about spending all this money on lawyers and.
Wouldn't it be just easier just to give it to him and cheaper
Or at least tell him.
for the fact that he could?
You know,
We can get back to Allison, the speaking, let her finish.
Thank you.
well, she sat down, so I assumed she
Well-
was done.
You've already had your turn.
You've had your turn.
Are we
Tim's had
limiting?
his turn.
Are we limiting to one person for 3 minutes?
That's
Is that,
normally what we do, but,
is that a new rule?
Look at the bottom of your.
Yelling on your hat. Said it was.
It seems to me that this revolves around the fact that since the day that Keith announced his candidacy, he has gotten pushback from virtually every elected official in this county. And he has never been given a fair shake. The fact that you would just deny him at all seems absurd. I think our county officials need to settle the hell down, try getting along a little bit better, and maybe Facebook is not the best vestige to be venting their anger.
That's your wife.
Back here.
Diane Kurtz, Independence. Keith, I've got a question for you, and I want a straight up answer. How many times have you denied John, because I can't speak to how many times you denied Dawn, a response to an email, phone call, or a text message?
Does that include, those records or
All of
some
them.
meetings,
All of them.
potential violations?
That's because you have a very
I'm
skewed
asking.
view of what open meetings constitutes.
I would say dozens of times I've denied responses to them.
Then how do you expect to have a cohesive board when you won't communicate things that maybe are time sensitive,
Just,
that have to be taken care of and have to be discussed? No decision needs to be made, but things need to be discussed. And you won't communicate with anyone. Why? Why?
last week, we decided as a board that we would,
Yeah, finally, after 6 months of this garbage,
okay, is it okay if I respond or do you have more?
please.
Okay.
And then I'll finish my comment.
This is on time.
Last week, as a board, we decided that we were going to describe our meetings, our public, commissions, our boards, conversations, and that was supposed to happen in this agenda and we missed it. So that is the time, that is a great time to inform the public of what's going on.
You haven't answered my question.
Can you repeat your question?
Why will you not communicate via text, phone call, or email?
Sure.
I want to know why. I want to hear your words.
Because of the propensity to avoid, open meetings violations.
God, get over yourself.
That's my answer.
That is not true. You've been told
You asked for
by
my,
the county
you asked for my
attorney.
answer. That's my
You've
answer.
been told numerous times that communication is not a violation. I don't know what it's gonna take to get that through your head. But you cannot work with two other people and not communicate at all. You cannot do it.
We've communicated all morning.
Oh, one day out of a week. Fully for you. Bravo. Oh.
Another shit show.
Yep.
I know.
Bye.
That's right.
Any other, I would,
I'll make a statement if you don't mind.
sure.
Before the 2024 election, I had received complaints of not a member of the public, so you don't need to time it.
Wow.
You okay with that?
Yeah, just turn it on.
You okay with that?
My show.
Before the 2024 election, I received complaints of whistleblower retaliation, open meetings violation, and open records violations. The open meetings violations were the most evident, as large topics would take minimal discussion before the Board of Supervisors approval. On December 30th, 2024, I determined massages were being conducted in the basement of the courthouse on county employees.
What?
I waited until the receipt showed up approximately 3 weeks. Asked the county auditor if they had asked the county attorney if the payments were legal. After she not answered, I asked the county attorney. Emails up to that point were public and may be requested to me or the auditor. I took office. That morning, I met with the county attorney to identify constructive and potentially destructive ways to limit open meetings violations. In January 25, I identified 2 conflicts of interest at the Board of Supervisors. Subsequently, Supervisor Vogel has stopped apparent activities as a realtor in Buchanan County. Further, Supervisor Kurtz has stopped auto parts commercials during public meetings, describing that no more
Let's
incidents.
stop for just a minute.
Do you mind if I finish?
Can you back up there? Because I want to pause right here. I want my question answered right here before you move past it.
The
What do
3
you-
supervisors agreed to next, the three supervisors have agreed to a draft budget for fiscal year 26, approximately 2025. About that time, I was advised Regional Transportation Authority did not have a quorum for months before I took office. There were folks who provided rural transportation to folks, including Medicaid recipients. They were sitting on funds to buy new buses, but couldn't make purchase until reaching quorum. As a board, we at RTA passed authorization to purchase new buses serving rural communities. They are now hiring and willing to train drivers to meet demand. I requested county monthly funds balances for the previous 10 years in order to do a cash flow analysis for all funds in the county to recommend a policy for minimum and maximum target funds balances. I've yet to receive those funds balances. In February 25, I repeatedly requested updating FY26 budget expenses and revenue sheets, but was denied, stating they would be provided at public hearing. The records were repopulated the last days before the public hearing and finally provided. When the percent increase in tax asking was announced that Friday before acceptance, I asked that we reconvene the Board of Supervisors expense work sessions to lower the tax asking. I was denied. Increases in property tax rates were estimated between 14 and 16%. The Board of Supervisors voted to increase the tax rate on a 2-to-1 vote. I dissented, describing that we had enough money saved to keep the tax, keep from raising the tax, that we needed to impose a hiring freeze for all departments except the sheriff and county roads so as to reduce and redistribute our workforce. In May of 2025, I began receiving monthly departmental expenditures values and their percentage used for their budget. I shared this information to the rest of the Board of Supervisors. They had not received this information previously. I filed complaints regarding the evidence of the county auditor withholding public information for requests of a county vehicle roster, our county farm lease and acreage, and as well our GIS contract. IPIB has the evidence. All IPIB matters are open records. Northeast Iowa Regional Housing Authority needed a Buchanan County supervisor to help them create bylaws. I currently sit on that board and part of a group creating their bylaws. Supervisors Kurtz and Vogel voted to use public funds to hire an attorney or attorneys to defend the auditor of the county, members of the Board of Supervisors, or the entirety of the Board of Supervisors. The defense is regarding IPIB complaints. The contents of this complaint was known to the supervisors at this time. The auditor subsequently hired an attorney for the administrative IPIB complaint process.
I did not hire an attorney, Keith. I had nothing to do with the hiring of the attorney. That was the direction of the Board of Supervisors.
Thank you for the
That was
correction.
not me.
I filed an IPIB complaint of a vote taken over email confirming the removing of the City of Independence from the County Landfill Association. IPIB has the evidence. All IPIB matters are open records. Supervisors Kurtz and Vogel voted to use public funds to hire an attorney or attorneys to defend the auditor of the county. Again,
Repetitive.
the members of the Board of Supervisors or the entirety of the Board of Supervisors for IPIB complaints. At this time, the contents of the second complaint were not known to the supervisors at this time. I identified and I inadvertently exposed individuals finishing farmers with high CRS2 ratings from putting their homes on farms. One grandmother in particular was attempting to home her adult child and grandchildren, which would have made it a 3-generation farm. The second and third generation had hoped to build a home on their new family farm. The young family notably intended to put a garden on their future home. They were currently growing tomatoes in buckets in their in-town property. A lengthy discussion occurred in public hearing about whether or not Planning and Zoning Board Chair knew that the requester was a grandmother. This zoning could have been approved under Buchanan County Ordinance 50.09. Many folks spoke out that my request to the zoning board was meant to change their vote, but instead it clearly requested recommendations, noting the familiar relationship of the zoning request. A couple weeks after the zoning request failed by vote, Iowa Senate File 592 went into legal effect, reaffirming Buchanan County's Ordinance 50.09. Over the last month, I have received dozens of whistleblower retaliation complaints on county employees. 2 weeks ago, a member of the public said he would ask for my resignation today, August 4th, 2025, if I didn't take a management class and I didn't drop the 2 IPID complaints. All 3 supervisors were asked to take a management coaching class. We also offered the same course to the auditor. I've yet to hear if she's taking it. As far as I know, no call has been made to ask the IPID respondents to respondents to resign, only the complainant. 2 members of the community voiced opinions to take Keith to the train station, or words to that effect. Apparently, it's a reference to a popular TV show that describes taking an individual to a remote ravine, using a gun on that person, and pushing the person over the edge of the ravine. As similar threats have been made against me, that county supervisor, local police were again notified. The County Auditor's attorney reaffirmed an earlier argument to IPID that she was confused and that I was not a person making an information request, but instead a county supervisor. The argument is made on previous cases that an auditor thinks that she can deny information requests from a supervisor if she believes the supervisor is not a person. The documents still have not yet been produced. I suggest you request a deliberation email string from IPID. All IPID complaints are open record. Identified county development funds and Northeast Iowa workforce development acquired funds under the same to provide workforce instruction for 2 Buchanan County schools. They just announced that they'd received that. Identified ambulance service providers in the 4 county area who also might be interested in expanding their ambulance services within Buchanan County. I identified that our county hospital tax of annually $1.4 million could be used to support ambulance services. Buchanan County hospital tax is approximately 7th highest in the hospital tax in the entire state. I previously provided that information to our county EMS council. That's the end of my statement.
Can we go back to me?
Sure.
Because I never stopped any deals from going through in this county. In fact, what I did for this county is when that food pantry, we wanted to get rid of it and we moved it at no cost to the county. We put that up for auction. Had we used somebody, it would have cost us 10% of the sale. So all I did was save the county money because I had knowledge. In fact, my real estate's been pushed to the side because of county business. I do far less now than what I've done before, to the point where I'm going to put my license on hold. There has been never a conflict of interest between myself and my other business and the county. You're welcome.
Anyone else? Yes.
Louise Bros, 1785 Jamestown Avenue. I have a question for Mr. Wieland. Mr. Lichty had requested that you take some classes that the other supervisors have taken when you became a supervisor. So far, all I can see is that you took the 1-hour IEP class. Have you attended or signed up for any others?
Yes.
Attended or signed up?
Both.
Could you tell us what you've attended?
I don't have to list it this time. I can give it to you. Louise,
You know what he attended? He attended new supervisor training back in January because I was there also.
That's the one paper on the board?
No, the one paper on the board just says remember ISAC.
I see.
And he attended the legislative forum before another meeting, but then he did not stay for the rest of the meetings.
There was another pipeline meeting before that.
But the pipeline meeting is not training. That's not ISAC training.
I don't know, does he need training?
Well, every job that I've ever had, no matter what it was, you took training. Every job, I don't care if it's McDonald's. You take a training so you know what you're doing. I think your job is rather important, and it would be great if you would take the trainings on how to get along with everybody else.
Here's one of the trainings I took last week. You're welcome to look into it.
I'd love to.
This one.
See you after the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Most of you standing, good, you got a comment?
It's been for an hour and a half.
Oh, okay. No, that's all right. I'm,
No, I've already talked, so I think I've already hit my limit anyway.
all right, thank you.
I have something, just with your, Keith, your response to me not responding with the massage that the Be Well Committee does. So that bill came in and was presented to the Board of Supervisors on January 27th. And at that time, you did not question it. In fact, you seconded the motion on it. And then as far as me not responding to your email, you had
That's
sent,
not what I said, but go ahead.
what, then maybe I misunderstood you. What did you say?
You didn't respond to the legality, whether or not you asked the attorney whether it was legal.
On January 26th at 5:32, you asked me what it was. And on Monday morning at 7:38, I said it was employee massages, a Be Well benefit.
The legality.
Can I finish, please?
Please.
Okay, and then also, a little after 8, our HR director was included on there. And she stated what the Be Well Committee was. It's a committee that organizes engaging activities aimed at reducing stress and promoting overall well-being. It's a fantastic initiative that truly supports the health and happiness of our employees. And then you asked who was on the Be Well Committee. She answered that. And then you asked, did we ask Sean regarding this purpose or these purchase of these public funds? And then at 8:45 the same day, I responded, yes, we have gone through this with our auditing firm. Everything is fine.
But you didn't ask Sean.
The audit firm is the one, if it was illegal, they definitely would have told us that because we work a lot with public purpose with them. If there's anything in question, I go through our audit firm because they get direction from the state auditor on whether it's allowable or it's not allowable and if we can prove it a public.
This,
So yes, I did.
this is all about massages provided to county employees with county taxpayer funds.
10-minute massages on their necks.
It is typically, it's part of the Be Well committees. A decision they make, not my decision.
I can tell you on the massage therapist, and this is done at businesses quite often. I mean, it wouldn't be back outrage to do that, and they call it like wellness, benefit, whatever.
Yeah.
They'll do it everywhere.
But they don't use county, they don't use public funds.
Well, I don't know if it benefits anybody, but people don't complain that, but work there for sure.
I'm sure you do a great job.
Yeah, there you go. But it's not out of the norm, for sure.
Do you have other clients that use public funds for this?
I personally have only done corporate and I only did it once, but I'm not doing that right now. I just know that it's quite normal for any business. Now, I don't know about county money.
Sure.
But it's normal for business to do it. So it's not, I'm just saying it's not something like most people don't know maybe about it at all. Ever heard of it? Never had a business, like if they work at Gators, they're not gonna get that. It's only corporate, right? They're the only ones gonna get that. So, but I'm just saying, as far as big business places, they will do it. It's a thing. But I don't know about state, acting right now. I don't know about that.
Appreciate your feedback.
Anyone else out there?
I got a different topic.
Jim, just for the heck of it, I'll let you.
Yeah, it's not on the same topic. I just have a question about your bids. I know you had a car bid that was just up for something, and then you got a bid coming up this fall for the county home out there, for land and pasture. I guess you open it up for bids, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, then you bring it here, you open the bids, and then you bring it up for auction, is that correct? Because if the bid is high or low, then that person can auction it up to another bid,
We offer the opportunity to raise their bid
basically
if they
an
choose.
auction. I don't quite
I-
understand why you would have a bid, say if I want to bid on a parcel of land, okay, and then all of a sudden, I expect that to come here, you open it up, and if I'm high, I get it or whatever, low, and vice versa. But why would you open it up and then have the person sitting here bid it up higher or lower?
Does that keep us from knowing what the bids are? I mean, those,
I mean, what is
Well, we
it?
don't look at them until we open them in a meeting.
we don't need to know until the meeting, like you said. if
So
we're-
why
They're
not
not-
just have it
They
here?
are not opened until I open them in front of you guys.
So we watch you
They're,
open it.
they're sealed.
So why not just say we're having a meeting next Monday and we're gonna have our county home auction? You guys be here, you can bid on it, and that's it, instead of having to go through all the other paperwork
Well,
process.
Paper trail.
I'm going to say historically, we have allowed them to change their bid. And
Historic.
it has been historically worked out to our benefit that we got more for what it was
Right.
than what they bid.
Maybe we could take a look.
And we did a similar thing on the vehicle we sold. I did the same thing on a lawnmower we sold 2 years ago and
Bridges.
bridges.
Would you not get the same if you had people here bidding on something? Maybe get more people.
And just run, you need just run, shouldn't,
Yeah. Because if I'm gonna
I
bid on
have no idea. We've always advertised for bid.
The majority of
I'm
the
not gonna waste- I wouldn't waste my time putting a bid in if I know it's gonna come here and get bid higher. So I mean, I'm saying you might get more people here is all I'm saying. So just a thought, just a thought.
Drawback on auction, you have to be an auctioneer.
Well, yeah, it's true too.
Oh, it's a higher auctioneer. You don't.
Like, if you bid and you put in your, submit your bid, then that bid should be the bid. Why would you redo it? You do it in here,
Do they come in and they?
Yeah, we give them the opportunity to read their bid.
but I mean, all the people who, sent bids,
There's SOL.
then you re-ask.
90% of the time, they all attend.
But what about the two?
All you gotta do is bid $1.
It's,
We have people that bid $1, $5,
No, I meant,
crazy stupid stuff.
but what about the one that can't make it in? That's why they mail it in.
that person will have somebody here, like we had that happen at the food pantry. And they had somebody here to increase their bid. In fact, they were then high bid.
We did that
It
one.
doesn't. Couldn't you do, if you're not gonna be an auctioneer, couldn't you do a 5 bid here?
We're doing it the way that we've done
Yeah.
it historically works very well, and we've gotten more money from.
We can take a look at the language and make sure that we're describing it adequately to the public, but.
Mr.
Yeah,
Gissel
there
has
we
a
go.
comment.
That's a
I
great.
believe that this is the way all the counties do their rental on land.
Okay.
And I will say, the auction or had a bid on the county vehicle we just disposed of. And it started out at $3,000 and it went up to 40.
I think it was over 5. I don't remember.
And the person that had submitted the bid couldn't be here, but he had a friend represent him and did the litigation. I guess if you're really interested enough, you figure out a way to make it happen.
No, I wouldn't worry. I just never heard of such a thing. Sounds weird.
John,
Apparently it's from-
the city does the same thing.
There you go.
Thank you.
John,
Yes.
just one quick comment on the
Yeah.
termination. Iowa law provides that termination for the next year has to be done before September 1st. And I don't know if it's different for what,
No, it's not.
it has to be done before September 1st before 2026.
She's hooked this up, yeah.
I will make a phone call when the meeting's over and have him come in.
Good.
Yeah, the other ones I've already,
Because if it's past September 1st, it's null and void.
correct. Yep.
Deb Rasmussen, First Street West, with that letter that Ms. Leland just read to us, and all that laundry list of horrible things that everybody, how do you have time to do your job when you're policing everybody else's work?
Don't have families, so.
Well, so you spend your hours of work policing what everybody else is doing?
That's why we elected him.
That's a supervisor's order.
Well, I don't, what do you do? What is your job?
As a Buchanan County Supervisor?
Yeah,
Buchanan County Supervisor. I don't understand the question, I guess.
I don't understand your job.
Well, we can look it up. I think it's 337.
What seems to me that you're doing is bullying everybody and their brother. my observation.
Okay, anyone else? If not, oh, it's me.
Dick Hoffman, 1339 250th Street, Independence, Iowa.
Hey, John, can we have just one person speak at a time so everything can be heard? Thank you.
You got
All right.
the, you got the floor, Dick.
I think Dick has the floor now, if everybody can be quiet.
This wheeling thing is a bunch of bullshit. Getting off of that, I'm gonna say more about that because I got my own feelings about it. But I think in the good of this supervisors, I mean, I sat in the back, I sat up here, and I don't know, I can't hear you guys half the time talking. I don't know whether you need microphones or speak up, so people back here can hear. And also, the people that are presenting things have got their back to us. And then the question when the guy was talking about the medical deal with, you know, we talked about heartache drug. We got a Walmart sitting over there. What the hell do they get for? They get a special rate or do we get a cut rate from them people? I hate them over there. I used to get my medicine there. They're terrible. But it's another Walmart. You don't have to drive to Waterloo to go to Walmart.
And I think, from my understanding from this, Walmart is not charged that extra prescription fee.
That was what I was understanding too. I don't know if it's Walmart with, outside of an area or within a.
Because they're not classified as a rural.
I can see it in Waterloo because it's a bigger community, but boy, we got a Walmart here and, you know, in Independence. I hate them. I hate the place. But shut up.
Yeah.
I get you. All right, anyone else? Getting a lot of diverse comments. Anyone else?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.